And we are back. Like we said, we're going to talk about support from our county, Howard County. So, um, in the past years, there hasn't been, to me, a lot of support from the people of Big Spring, like I'd say the city or even the school district, as far as field usage or supporting us. Like, I see Andrews, and they told us last year they could use the Mustang Bowl, and their city doesn't charge them. You know, they don't allow them to get charged or something like that, and that's amazing considering, like, if you want to use Memorial Stadium, it's $1,000 a day, and I'm just like, whoa, you know. And till recently, I mean, I was uh, really down on the city. I wrote them a few hate emails, and I mean, I don't know who's to blame for all of it or what, but I mean, what is your take on it, Emmett?
I mean, this year both school boards kind of stepped up. Coahoma and Big Spring. I mean, the Broncos are playing in Coahoma, and the Steelers have got Memorial.
Right.
I mean, they really stepped up as a whole. I mean, the school boards finally, hey, look, this is our youth. These are, this is our future. And then they finally stepped up and like, hey, you know what? Y'all can play on our fields. Y'all can use our fields. I mean, we're still going to make our money off of you, but,
right.
Let's go ahead and let y'all use them.
Yeah, and that's what you're saying. Make their money off us. I don't know with y'all. Like I was telling y'all though. I believe that our deal is we have to split gate with them and allow the booster club at the school do the snack bar, which is fine with me. I think it'll be better than giving them $1,000 every home game. What about y'all, Adam? How did it work with y'all? I know you had said y'all were going to go to the school board.
Yeah, we went to the school board, and like I said, it just all depends on who's on the board at the time. And when all these votes go on, there's bylaws and stuff that they have set. Sometimes it works in our advantage, and sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
And here in the past, it hasn't worked for neither one of us.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was like you. I mean, hey, joining PBYFL and then going to Andrews, heck, C City was new last year. Stanton was new, and Stanton has to pay a fee to use that field at the same time. But I mean, same time they get to use the field.
Right.
I mean, these kids are playing on nice fields every week, every week, and when we have home games, these guys are coming in here and they're like, man, why don't we just play back where we were at? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't blame them. As far as the city subject, I mean, there's just some things that are out of the hands of some people that are running it. They're just
right.
rules that have already been in place that don't change.
Yeah.
But as far as our school board, I mean, they changed some stuff and were able to allow us to use it. We'll pay a fee as well, but at the same time, it's our first year using it.
Right.
I think it's a good thing that we're able to step in there and use it. Join that system as everybody else has. You know what I mean? And we can build a relationship with our school board and our school system. You know what I mean? And that was something that we offered. We're gonna let our band boosters out of Coahoma High School and let them make their money off of their concession.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, it's like, hey, you're letting us use the field. We'll give back to you, too. You know what I mean? So, I'm excited.
Yeah. Us too, man. Mr. Ritchie, he really did a big part in helping us out. I know Keegan talked about that. And like he said, we want to build that bond too. We're looking at hopefully trying to instill a few plays by each age division from the Steers themselves. Yeah. I believe the new head coach, his name is McWilliams or something. Yeah. Hopefully teach these boys a few plays. Get them going in the right way. And have y'all gotten any sponsors yet? Sponsorship's a big thing from your community.
Yeah.
You know,
We got a few sponsorships in. I know H&R Block was a good one for us.
Oh yeah.
This year, we got a few in the works that have always been there.
Right.
Dixie Electric.
Oh yeah.
Them definitely has always. They've been with us since we started our organization.
Right. Yeah. Us too. We got a Citizens Bank and I don't know what was the other bank? I think Complex, where Miss Leo works at. They sponsored us, and then who else? Boogie Nights. One of the local bars in town. He's always looking to sponsor. And like I said, a few other places. They have started coming around and supporting youth football. A couple seasons ago, it was hard to get sponsorships for us. When we were the Predators the first year, it was really hard to get a sponsorship. But like I said, I guess you're right. Just whoever's in place, in charge at the time.
Yeah.
Moving on to our last topic. Like we've said, this last episode and this episode, the Predators and the Steers, they've merged, and roster sizes, they're growing. I think we're maybe 2 or 3 away from hitting max in the freshman level. We're about 7 away on varsity, 3 away flag, and JV maybe 1 or 2. I don't know. We're right there. I know you told me when we spoke one day that your varsity and your freshmen are growing, and Emmett said that the JV and freshmen are coming along slowly but surely.
Yeah.
He, So, can you tell me about your? Can you tell me about the advantages of having a big roster? Because, like I said, sometimes in the past it's been a concern having too big of a roster.
Well, I don't. I was always the same. I was in the same mindset as too many kids is going to be hard to manage. You know what I mean? But the PBYFL league, they're growing and it's constantly growing. D1 division especially is gonna be something to talk about this year as well. But we're still have some teams in D2 that we're still talking about joining and stuff like that. But with the more a bigger roster, you have less kids having to go both ways.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can actually see where they shine at,
Right.
and to their full ability, and not having to worry about them being gassed on the other end of the football. You got one guy who's, he is a stud, can go both ways, but where does he benefit you better?
Right.
You can leave him there and, put little Johnny on the other side.
Right.
So that's an advantage of having a big roster. Of course, like again, with this tournament that we just played in, big roster played a bit of effect on the outcome. You know what I mean? So having a big roster compared to some that can't, that can barely make, there's a big advantage. Your kids aren't as gassed.
Right. And like you were saying, not as gassed, keeping them on one side, finding where they're at. What do you think about disadvantages? Is there a disadvantage now? Because, like you said, we're in a competitive league.
Yeah.
PBYFL is I guess you'd say a win league. They want to see wins.
Yeah.
They want to see them develop, but they want to. Winning comes along with it.
My only thing with the disadvantage is, you get kids like, say, my son last year. It's his first year playing. I mean, he didn't really show up or shine until the last 3 or 4 games. I mean, if we would have had a 25 roster kid, he would have been pushed to the back.
Right.
Oh, well, you're not performing very well, so, we're going to get you in a few players. My thing is the game reps helped him, develop him, get him on, get him pushed, in the right direction to where he needed to be toward the end of the year. At the end of the year, I mean, he really shined. It's like, all right, I got it, Dad. I'm good.
Yeah.
And then we had like Aiden Rodriguez, like you said last year. Even your son Elijah, they came along toward the end of the year.
Yeah.
that first few games, they were lost. But as the year went on, they got better.
And see, and that kind of tossed it for me because we were only 14, really 14-man team, maybe less at games, but that was one of our, I'd say, disadvantages of having a small roster. If you have 25 kids, I think it's the max. If you have 25 kids, you can have enough to go 11 on 11 every practice. Hopefully get them game ready.
Well, that's the issue is like we had last year too. Is we didn't have all these kids show up to practice every day. I'm
Right.
sure Adam had it with the militia. I mean, you got 25 kids. Your roster might say 25 kids, but how many kids actually show up to practice every day?
Right, that is true. Because there was practices we had 9 kids.
Or 7 or 6.
Right.
It all varied on the day. Mondays are usually our worst days for practice.
Right. So yeah. And I don't know. I just think it's going to be an interesting year. Both teams I think are going to fill out nicely. I think Howard County's coming with some strong ammo this year from both the Broncos and the Steers. I know Adams his team's the defending champions for the varsity level. That JV finished second and flag third. That was an amazing year.
Yeah, our organization did pretty good last year.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year for the Steers. This is my first year with them. No team finished in the playoffs for them.
Yeah, but you are bringing the flag.
Yeah, we are bringing the flag from the Predators. We're bringing some of the JV that finished in third. We're bringing some talent, but like I said last week, it doesn't matter. It's going to all depends when they strap it up and they go play,
Just see how well those teams mash together.
Right, I don't want to put that, I've already heard, we're the team to beat in the freshman division, but, just because we're filling out good, that doesn't mean nothing, We got to go out there and prove it. Those kids got to prove it to us, and we got to go out there and prove it to.
I think our freshmen from last year for the Broncos, they're pretty hungry. They want to, they want to do better than they did last year.
Right.
And it's gonna be interesting to see, if they got that fire, that desire to want to do better.
Do y'all have a lot of returners from that team?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. We were adding some in. Obviously, my son, he's moving from the Predators. We're adding a few kids in. But majority of the kids are the kids that were there last year. Right.
Yeah, I know those kids are hungry. They've had a few rough seasons, That age division, that 7-year-olds,
But that's a good thing, our Bronco organization, like I said, I can't say it over and over. We've been blessed with some amazing parents and the new ones like Emmett and the Hart family coming in. That's where the organization is built, is having great parents.
Right.
They stick with it no matter what. You know what I mean? We've had, our varsity division, the last 3 years, I can count one hand how many times we won. You know what I mean? But we never gave up. Parents stuck by us. The kids never gave up on themselves. And, we went to a no-winning record the year before last to, not being able to be stopped, and going undefeated and winning the championship, at the end of last year.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's parents and the kids, is what makes the organization. Honestly, they got that desire.
Yeah.
They got the want to. They don't give up.
Right.
A lot of our kids in our organization right now are basically the same ones. We got a handful, coming from Steers or Predators. We got some that haven't played coming in, but I'm gonna say about 85% of our organization are all returners.
Right.
And the percent that's not are the ones that aged out.
Right. Yeah. And that's great. You had a